so now we're back. We're gonna have Marcus self-torture himself with this double lacrosse ball called a peanut. You can put tennis balls in it if you need something a little softer. There's tons of mobility tools out there that you can use. So Marcus is relatively flat and almost extended in his upper back. Some people are a little bit more rounded, and again, the rounded are usually going to have a little bit harder time really pulling back up towards neutral, even into extension, to even allow that elbow carriage or that upper arm to be a little higher. He doesn't really have that problem so much. But if it's something that we want to address, or maybe even if I can give him a couple degrees here from his thoracic spine extending, that's a win. That's less pressure on his shoulder, less pressure on his wrist and fingers. Maybe it even helps with his squat position a little bit more in his barbell position as far as being right over his feet, which would be really helpful for him. So we put that ball and put his spine down the middle, the spinous processes being right down the middle of that thing. He can start anywhere from the bottom part of his neck all the way down to like below his shoulder blades. Too much lower than that, you start getting real uncomfortable because more and more of you is over it. But I can have him lie here in a little bit of extension. He can rock side to side to get his ribs a little bit, which is what he's doing. If I have you take both arms, reach all the way overhead for me, Marcus, really close to your ears. Oh, that's awesome, isn't it? And then do this. Keep those down. Okay, so see how that balances up. We're going to talk about overhead position at a whole another time in a little bit. But for right now, like, he can spend a couple of minutes just working that upper back position, which will be really good. Great. Flip on over for me. What I want you to do now, again, if I can't get here and I got my lats, I got my triceps, I got all kinds of stuff, can I get down on the ground and can we get our elbow forward? There we go. So it looks like that same shape, which is really important. And can we use this? The double lacrosse ball just stays put a little bit better than a lot of other things, but can he use that to work all this tricep, all this lat? He can dig into anything that feels really tight. You might find some stuff up in here in his armpit area that's pretty tender. And that's probably some stuff that's going to be good. If you're going to mash this stuff and do some tissue work on it, I think it's important to do it when it's in a tensed position because then it's restricted. If we do this all the way down here, but then I need it here, it may not give us the result that we want. So we usually advocate that people put that arm in that position that's going to feel restricted and go for it. Great. Okay, so he can spend lots of time there. He looks like he's enjoying that. All right, so next, let's put this into a bigger piece. Marcus. I love this. This is one of my favorite things. Usually have people start holding it here. You're going to let it fall out to the side. Good. You're going to grab it from underneath. Thanks for not hitting me. You're going to pull that elbow up as we're externally rotating that upper arm. There we go. So now we got flexion, external rotation. And Marcus, go ahead and get in a squat stance for me. And he just went and dropped right into it. Doesn't it look amazing? And here's the thing. This is able to stay nice and horizontal here. And then come on back up. Here's the cool thing. So the lats, when our legs are extended, the lat has a little bit more slack in it. As soon as we bend the hips, that lat's going to get pulled down through here. So we see a lot of people, they're like, oh, I got great, check this out. And then boom, and then they're stuck. Because all this tissue has gotten yanked down from below and it pulls down here. So if he can do this where he squats, he's able to maintain this being upright and those elbows nice and high. That lat is going to show us that it has really good length, which is, again, we don't want it to be restrictive. We don't want anything to cause that elbow to drop. So I like this 5, maybe 10 squats on each side, making sure that there's not a side differential. And when you did that squat, did you feel more stretched through here? Yeah, okay. And again, people are usually going to have a good side and a bad side, so there will be something that's remarkable about it, okay? So then, from here, we would go back and check his front squat. So we'll show you that in a second.